and welcome into Cullman Today. I'm Debbie Wood, and our guest this morning is Dawn Owens. Dawn is the director for The Link, and I know you've heard all about The Link over the last couple of years and the wonderful things that they're doing. Dawn, I've got to share this with you this morning, has that servant's heart, but we also want to know from her a little bit about how all of this started. So good morning to you.
Good morning.
Always good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I know. It's great to see you too.
Yes.
Thanks.
Now, 3 years, is that right?
3 years, yes.
Wow.
March was 3 years. We celebrated with a big annual event. We had about 200 people come out and celebrate with us. But yeah, hard to believe it went by so fast, didn't it?
I know. When you first came in, you had that vision. You were talking about what you wanted to do, and we all, when you left, we were all thinking, oh, she's got that great servant's heart, but that's a lot of work.
It is.
And it was going to be tough to get it all together, but you did it.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, God did it, you know, and it's been amazing to watch how He has moved and maneuvered and granted favor where, you know, you just thought we didn't deserve that there, you know, and grace and everything else. And, you know, He's really moved in the hearts of the people, and that's what's made this possible, really. This is an amazing community, and Cullman has rose to the occasion in this. And so it's incredible to see, you know, after 3 years, we've got a little over 300 donors and close to 200 volunteers helping us out.
Wow.
So, you know, obviously, this is not just me. There's no way that could be possibly true. I've got 6 other staff members that are incredibly dedicated. And you talk about servant's heart. I mean, people who pick up the litter outside and mow the lawn, and I mean, they'll just do anything and just have a deep love for people, and a willingness to just serve in any capacity.
Any capacity.
That's right. And so, I mean,
it's just a wonderful team, isn't it? That has come together.
It's amazing.
You have also put together a wonderful board. You did that early on, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So to get incorporated and then also to get your 501c3, you have to have a board of directors. Okay. And I've had several committed to that over the years, but we've had to change a few out. But this year I've got this amazing crew who is just really committed to the cause, and we've had a great board retreat this year and created some really great goals for us. So I'm excited about where their leadership is going to take us.
Sure.
But my board chair this year is Stacy Carter. I don't know if you know Stacy and Steve.
She's such a sweetheart.
And they've had to release their store recently, but we get her committed now to the link. And we have, let's see, Bo Shirey is our vice chair. Yep, yes. And he's leading up our Sprint Triathlon. I'll tell you a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's going to be
great.
In just a
while. Yep, he's been wonderful. Let's see. Clay Colvard is an all-state agent here in town, and he's moved here not long ago from a little lower South Alabama, but he's just become a part of the community. Everybody speaks so highly of him, so we're so excited to have him as part of our board.
Right.
And let's see, Nisha Donaldson is our treasurer.
Nisha.
Yes,
she's great.
Yes, and man, has she helped me a lot with financials and helping me understand how all that works. Yeah, she's a whiz. And then Lindsay Dawsey has been our past board chair
Lindsay
for 2 years. Yes, and so she's still committed to us, thankfully.
Yes.
She's one of our worker bees, so I'm glad to have her on board. And then Stephen Skinner has also been on our board for the last couple years.
He's also got that wonderful servant's heart, doesn't he? You can just see it in his face when he smiles. Always smiling. And just for the folks at home that maybe don't understand what the link is all about, share with us briefly about what it encompasses. And in the last year or so, you've taken other entities under that umbrella.
Yes. So the Link is a faith-based nonprofit, and we are working towards breaking the cycle of poverty through encouragement, education, and employability training. So we've really kind of narrowed that down and really focused in the last 3 years.
Right.
And so what that looks like practically kind of day to day is we help people with goal setting. We do career coaching. We've got a great partnership with Wallace where we get a career coach once a week.
Wonderful.
That comes and helps coach our folks. We do jobs preparedness classes at the Link Center, and we're also partnered with the jail and doing some classes there as well.
Right.
We do adult literacy coaching, and we're always looking for volunteers in that area, especially right now. We have a high demand for those.
Right.
English as a second language. We've got 3 English as a second language classes going on right now with a very highly committed volunteer. She leads all of that. Yes, she's very impressive. talk about servant hearts. I mean,
wow.
That's incredible. Then we do Wise Up, which is a financial education program for our teens in the local school. We started off with 1 school. Now we are in 6 and committed to 7 for the next school year.
Oh, that's fabulous. Now tell us what it is and how does it generally work?
Wise Up is, like I said, a financial education program. It's 15 weeks long. It goes 1 hour a week. We usually are in the career prep class for the freshmen or the economics class for the seniors. And with that, they learn all about budgeting. They learn about debt to loan ratios, what's good debt, what's bad debt. We talk about how to use a bank rather than using some of our, we call them predatory lending institutions. They learn that word quite well. And unfortunately, we have more than enough of them, more than we need of them in Cullman. But
and I think Alabama is ranked one of the #1s in the whole country for having those. So that's not a good sign, is it?
And some of our students even talk about how they use that as the bank. That is their bank, and we no, that's not your bank.
Oh, wow.
And so we talk to them about, you know, APR and interest and how all of that affects their money, and so we've had some really great wins with that, where students are saying, I never knew that I could break the cycle of poverty in my family. My favorite ones are we've had some little pregnant mamas that have been in our classes, and this is now a future for me and my child.
Wow.
Now I have the tools that I need to be able to be successful.
And that's what it's all about, is the tools to be successful.
It's exactly what it is.
And the encouragement.
Yes.
It just takes so much encouragement, doesn't it?
Yes, it sure does.
So that's the program Wise Up, and it's offered in all of our schools throughout the county. So,
and then another program that we have that's offered throughout the schools is Volunteers in Public Schools.
Yes, I love it.
And that was a separate entity. That's one of the ones you were talking about. And they've been around for 12 years.
Okay.
They came underneath us about 2 years ago. They released their 501c3. And we just felt like it was a really great partnership for us to be able to not only serve these students, who many of them, about 90% of them, tend to be in low-income homes, but now we can also communicate with those parents. And parent involvement is huge in what we try to do. And so any way that we can encourage that is going to be beneficial for everybody, really. So that's in 11 schools, and we have about 40 volunteers that assist with that. But we're always, again, recruiting volunteers for all of our programs.
All of your programs.
All of our programs. We can't do what we do without them. In the last 3 years, we have had the opportunity to serve and begin relationships with 3,300 people.
Oh my goodness,
yeah,
3,300.
Yes.
Oh, and just to hear their stories, like what you were just talking about, it has to be just such a, you feel rewarded for what you're doing.
Yes.
Because I know it has to be tough at times. It has to be hard.
It is.
To just pull it all together. And but it's wonderful. Let's talk about the triathlon that's coming up in September.
That's correct, yeah. We've got a Sprint Triathlon. This is Cullman's first Sprint Triathlon. We had it last year, September 20th. It was the same day as the parade. The fair parade.
Fair parade, okay.
Yes. And but this year we decided to switch it and kind of make it a separate day, because it was a little overwhelming for everybody, I think. But it starts at 7:30 in the morning with our kids kicking it off, and then 8:30 for the adults. All the information is available online at www.linkingcullman.org/events, or they can look it up on active.com. But the event was fabulous last year. We had 200 participants. 7 states came and represented.
Oh, wow.
I know, pretty incredible.
That's good.
And then we heard that they stayed and shopped in Cullman, so we love that. We want to encourage that as much as possible. And then we had 50 kids participate.
Kids.
Yes.
My grandchildren participated in Nicholas, the older little one, the older twin, actually loved it. I mean, he rode that bicycle hard and fast, and would have won, but he took. There were several of them when they first came out of the gate. Went the wrong way, which was just a great experience. And next year they'll know to go the other way. But it was just a great experience, and they're already looking forward to it too.
Good.
They've asked, and I think their dad has it on their calendar. So this is what we want, isn't it?
Yes,
I mean, we
exactly
want these activities for the children, but at the same time, they and their dad explained to them what the reason for doing this was. So I thought that was great, and to to take the time to do that and
Yeah,
explain.
so that they also understand how to break the cycle of poverty, and they're contributing to that and participating.
That's right.
And that one of the things that I talked to the athletes about last year was really when you're training for a race, you've got to get up every morning and say, am I going to train today? Am I going to get up and get moving today? Is this something that I'm going to commit to?
Right.
And that's hard to do some days, right? To look in the mirror and say, this is what I'm going to do. Well, our folks face that same challenge every single day. Yes.
And sometimes they don't have the resources to do what some other folks that are as fortunate to do.
So that's really what we're trying to do at the Link, is trying to equip them with those things that they need most. And that's why we focus on those areas of encouragement, education, and employability training.
Exactly.
Because that's really
not a
what they
handout.
Need.
Nope. It's to give them the tools that they need to be successful.
Yep.
So if someone is watching today, and of course they want to be a volunteer, that's easy to do, to give you a call, and we'll have that number on the screen. But also if someone's watching and they know maybe they need the services, or they have a loved one that needs a little help, how do you go about doing that?
They can just show up to our front door. No appointment needed. We try to make ourselves very open to the public, so we're open from 8:30 to 4:30 every day. When we first opened the center, we were only open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but we've been able to expand those services over the last couple of years. So we're open 8:30 to 4:30 every day. We close down for lunch. And then on Wednesdays we close at 3 for our staff meeting. But beyond that, we're open. They can stop in. We'll have them fill out a little bit of a form. And with that, we're going to ask them a little bit about their circumstance and what they are dreaming about. What do they want to be when they grow up? You know, where do they want to go? Where do they feel like life maybe has not taken them, and where would they like to go from here? So it's a very easy process. We've got an amazing receptionist that's going to make them feel really welcomed when they get there.
Wonderful.
And then they'll meet with somebody that we call an encourager. And that person is there, purely for the reason to encourage. And so they're going to sit down and kind of talk to them and ask them those questions, and then we'll try and set some goals with them together, and then they're going to get prayed over before they leave.
Oh, wonderful.
And that way they go out knowing that even if they don't feel like they can conquer it, there's a God in heaven who can.
Absolutely wonderful. That is so fabulous. So no age limit or anything. It doesn't really matter. Just
most of
the situation.
Most of the adults we work with come into the center. The ones who want to be a part of Wise Up and VIPS, we usually get them connected through the schools. So if you have a student that might need tutoring next year through the VIPS program, most of the time they're elementary age students. We are considering expanding. We're getting a lot more requests for middle school and high school, but unless we've got the funding, we won't be able to move on that just yet. But for right now, we've got elementary. And if your child needs assistance in that area, let your guidance counselor know. And your guidance counselor can then connect them with their VIPS volunteer, and we can kind of take it from there.
And that volunteer is there beside them throughout whichever class that they need, or all classes, I guess. Whatever they need.
Yeah, those volunteers act in different capacities. Sometimes the volunteers one-on-one with the student, depending on that student's needs, and they help them with reading or math or another one of their classes. Or sometimes it's just that a child needs encouragement and they're not getting that at home, unfortunately. So they just act as a mentor to them and encourage them and
like a grandparent sitting there.
Exactly. Just love on them. And then there's other schools that have set up reading groups or math groups. And so our volunteers will actually act in the capacity of almost like a mini teacher, if you will, where the students will come and they'll come for about an hour and they'll sit in that reading group, and then when they get up to a certain level, they move on and another student will jump in. So, we've seen a lot of success in that way too.
Wonderful. So, and folks, the reason for having the triathlon is for a little fundraiser, because it does take money to make these programs work.
It does.
And the VIP program, VIPS, certainly needs that money, because we need to be able to have that thing up and going by the time school starts in August, and be able to take care of. I think you've already assisted over how many students in that? 200?
For VIPS, yes. Just last year it was 235 students.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure since VIPS began, it's been probably thousands of students that have been assisted.
Just last year alone.
But just last year
and
alone.
So we want to be able to do the same thing. So remember that. Remember the triathlon coming up in September, and then also all these other wonderful programs. And the phone number will be on your screen. Dawn, thank you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And just we just wish you all the best
Thank you.
in all of the
Yeah.
moves and stuff that y'all do, and all the people that you try to assist.
And before I go, can I just mention one more thing? I just remembered this. So with VIPS right now, we have got a campaign that we have launched. We launched it the end of May, beginning of June, where we are trying to get 100 students supported for this year. And we have figured out that it costs about $7 an hour for us to tutor a student. That's $72 for a year. So you can either donate that monthly to us, or I'm sorry, it's $6 an hour, $72 a year.
A year?
Yeah, so you can donate that monthly to us, or just in a package of a month, for a year.
And earmark it,
and earmark it
for that?
Yep, $72. And we have got folks that have actually committed to several kids, but right now we only have about 7 of those kids committed to for this coming year. So we would love to see
only
more.
How many? 7?
7 out of those 100. Yeah. So we would love to see more folks sponsor children.
Absolutely.
And really, when you think about it, if you were to get private tutoring for a child, it could cost you $70 just a month.
And
our parents, the ones that we're dealing with, our low-income folks, couldn't even think about affording that.
And folks, remember, just think about that, what it would do for that child, the boost that it would give that child to be able to, someone sitting beside them for that hour and teaching them, helping them with their reading and their, oh wow, it makes such a difference, wouldn't it?
And research actually shows that if a child does not know how to read by 3rd grade, they're more likely to land in prison later on. And unfortunately, we do have children in Cullman County who are struggling to learn how to read by 3rd grade.
My goodness.
Yes, we are seeing an increase in kindergartners even that are
See, that's so sad, isn't it? Somewhere along the line, something has just not happened, and and until we get that corrected, we've got to do something. The VIPS program has been around for a long time in the entire country, and it's just a wonderful program. So if you can be a volunteer, or if you can make that donation, $70-something a year, that's great. So
thank you.
Tell them, thank you, and tell them you want to earmark for 2 or 3 children, and it can go, and I guess they could earmark it for what school they wanted it to be at, but it would just go in general, wouldn't it?
Yes, they can know they're supporting a child in Cullman County for sure.
Absolutely. So Dawn, thank you.
Thank you.
And of course, we'll be back with a lot more right after this.